Hey, in today's video we're making Scotch eggs, so stay tuned to see how we do them. As the title says, we're going to make Scotch eggs. really straightforward. Snack, lunch, dinner, whatever you want to use it as really. So it's a little update to the recipe in the cookbook, but what I have done already is I've updated the online link. So the link in the description goes to this recipe. Hey Joyce, how you doing? Because when we first started making Scotch eggs, we were buying sausages. We were buying 97% pork sausages, great. But what we've done over the time is actually sort of reduce the amount of pre-made things. So i.e. sausages still got some fillers in it. So we've gone down the lines now of making our own with minced pork, and actually we prefer them. And it also means you can flavour them in whatever way you want. So I've got in here a 5% pork mince. I occasionally pick up a 12% as well. So these work out at 1.3 grams of carbs per Scotch egg. That's it. And again on the recipe it tells you two ways in which you can cook them. Our preferred way now, which is frying them in lard, and I've got the lard heating behind me, or oven baking them. So I'm going to put one in the oven. At least what I can do then is at the end, once they've been fully cooked, is I can take a picture of the two different Scotch eggs, because they do look a little bit different. The fried one obviously go more golden and more crispy, whereas the oven baked ones stay a little bit softer. So really straightforward, and I'm not going to, I didn't want to sort of go down the lines of let's boil some eggs, because I'm pretty sure we can all boil some eggs. 5 hard-boiled eggs. Effectively I'm using 100 grams of minced pork per egg. So that 500 gram tray, I've got 5 eggs. Sometimes we would split the pork and make some breakfast burgers out of some of it and make some Scotch eggs out of the rest. Into that, it's just a bit of seasoning. So a little bit of salt, half a teaspoon of salt. Whatever herbs you want. I've got some fresh sage here, because I've got some sage growing in the garden. So I've got some fresh sage. Just mixed herbs if you want. You can put a bit of garlic in here. Whatever sort of bit of seasoning you want. And 1 egg, just to help it stick together. This recipe is unavoidable. You need to get your hands in. So it's going to be just over 100 grams now because of the egg, but I'm just going to go with like 105 or something. Eggs don't weigh that much. Push it out, palm of your hand, grab the egg and just form it around the egg. Start with it'll be a little bit loose, but as you sort of get the mince around, you'll see where it's not quite touching. And there you go, just give it a squeeze as you're doing it, just give it a squeeze. I've got a load of eggs in the fridge. Well, they won't be. Will they be okay? Yes, mate. Make some of these. You said to me you got some pork out. There you go. You've just watched me make them. Spice them up for Thursday. There you go. There's the first. So that's obviously still without its crumb. I'm just going to wrap up some more first. You could as well. You don't have to use pork mince. I have had previously lamb mince Scotch eggs. They're particularly nice. I made some mini versions of these for Ella a few weeks ago, which were egg-free Scotch eggs. So they were.
Did you put egg in the mince?
No, I don't think I did actually. I don't think I did because they were very small.
Yeah.
The egg just sort of helps hold the meat together a little bit more around the egg. Cut cubes of cheese up and then wrapped them in sausage meat and then cooked them. The wrapping, all I'm going to use is golden linseed, just with a little bit of seasoning. You can put whatever seasoning you want inside the linseed. So garlic and herb, put a bit of chili powder in there, entirely up to you. We sometimes buy like a smoky barbecue, like a fajita seasoning. just put sort of 10 grams of that in. That makes a really nice coating. We do that a lot with the KFC chicken. I'm going to put 100 grams in here, but it won't take all 100 grams to wrap the 5 eggs, but I'll then save the crumb to go on some chicken that I'm going to do. Yeah, we'll do KFC tomorrow, something like that. Now, because I've put the sage in the meat, so just get it coated. Right, I'm going to put them there for a minute because we're going to cook them all off together. There you go. There's just over 60 grams left of linseed in there, so it's used. It's just under maybe 8 grams. Yeah, 8 grams per linseed per egg. So I've put in the recipe that it would take 10. Yes, it is milled linseed. Aldi, golden linseed. If you can't get this, and you can get golden linseed from Sainsbury's or Morrison's or wherever, and you've got a NutriBullet, you can make your own. This is the cheapest way of doing it though. These are $1.79 for a 250 gram bag. So it is the cheapest way of getting linseeds. So those two I'm going to pop in the oven. About 180, 190. They're going to take 25 minutes about. Obviously all we're cooking is the mincemeat on the outside. In the lard, obviously it will take less time. And to get it into the lard, using a spoon. Now, it's gone a bit too low now. I've had it low. Whole linseed. So you can see it's quite dark. It's a brown seed. So if you've got the brown, then it's whole linseed. This has just been shelled, so this has had the shell removed. So it's just the inner, but they taste the same. It does have a distinctive taste.
If you've got the whole one, I'd recommend blitzing it.
Yeah, grind it down. I mean, they still grind down well. I've made bread out of this, which works out quite nicely. There is a recipe for the dark linseed, which uses the whole linseed rather than the ground. But yeah, it'll work exactly the same. It'll just be darker. That's all it'll be. Here we go. Right, I turned the lard down a little bit too low to start with, so we can now. I just need to swipe those messages out of the way. Ah, there we go. I can see now. I'm not sure whether you can pick this up already, but they're already going golden brown. And they just will only take. It smells amazing. The dog has an entire sofa to himself. It's a 2.5, 3-seater sofa.
Yeah. Look at him.
How long do you keep your lard for? I keep my lard for as long as I can use it, because each time I use it, I try and strain out what I've just cooked in. So obviously there'll be sort of ends of linseed in this lard, so strain it out, because it's mostly when you heat oil, it'll be that burns. The lard can be used several times. The only time I ever throw it away is if it's heavily seasoned with something that we fried in it. So we did some what was the coconutty one? And it really tainted the flavour of the oil, didn't it? We couldn't use it again.
I can't remember.
But anyway, the lard I'd used several times. This is this one's second time at least. This was, I think, 2 or 3 packs. So about £1 worth of lard.
A pound in British currency, then.
Yeah,
not
a pound
American
in
weight.
Weeks, months. It will last months. Yes, absolutely. Depends how many times in those months you use it. But yes, it will absolutely last for a long, long time. Months, no problem at all. Crispy, crunchy Scotch eggs. So they probably only took just a bit of the meat coming out of the skin. They took about what, 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes in the lard to cook. One of them split open, so occasionally you'll get that where it'll split open. Obviously, I'll let them cool down before I try and do anything with them. But perfect little snacks. I say 1.2 something grams of carbs, 1.3, something like that. So exceptionally low, 1.3. Made that way, they're a 250 calorie snack, and effectively they are equal percentages of fat and protein, so they're perfect for having as a lunch, a bit of salad if you wanted, or just again a lunch on the go. What I'll do is I'll post a picture of the oven baked ones alongside these later on. Thanks for watching. If you want the recipe, it's in the description, and if you want more, subscribe and you'll be able to find all of our recipes.